Just give the word, Ryan, when you're ready.
All set.
Okay. Hello, Playdate. This is Don.
This is Nick.
And I'm Ryan.
This week we are covering Playdate news.
Recent indie releases.
And coming at you like the traffic lights of the Playdate community.
Thank you for listening. Let's get started.
So so we should have a discussion, I think. This needs to be out in the open. Who
Uh-oh.
is red, yellow, and green among us?
I was going to ask what relevance do traffic lights have?
There's three
And
of us. There's three
there
traffic lights.
is the
But
triumvirate. Yeah,
but
that's
who's what?
that's um well, is there circuitry involved that allows
See, I was thinking personality types, and you took it in a real different direction.
What are the personalities of red, yellow, and green?
Well, green means go. Red says stop. Yellow's like,
Eh, I'm a fan. I'm a fan of yellow.
all right.
Yellow. It's going to be half the episode, isn't it?
All right, I think so. Well, we fulfilled our awkward silence portion of the show, so why don't we boobity hoo on to the news and notes, starting with let's see here. Let's see here. Did you know new episodes of the official Playdate podcast are coming out all the time? We don't mention them a whole lot because usually by the time our show airs, there's stuff that's spoilery, but we're going to give you a non-specific link to that Playdate podcast, just reminding you those episodes are coming in hot and heavy if you're not getting enough of us every single week. My goodness, that's a lot of us. Moving on to the next news and note. If you haven't been getting enough panic in your life, you can tune in. Oh, this is late breaking news. Hoopity boop boop. Tomorrow, which is June 25th at 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. What is happening tomorrow? You can join Arissa and Elizabeth as they continue to play through Playdate Season 2. That's going to be streaming live on their Twitch station, which you can find at twitch.tv/panic. We'll have a link to that in the show notes of today's episode. But this was just announced like an hour ago, which sounds like, less than 24 hours before it happens. Not very much time, but in Panic Twitch time, this is like forever. They never announced that they're going to do anything. So I'm actually very pleased that they said something about it and posted it on their Blue Skis. So thank you for doing that, Arissa and Elizabeth. I tuned in to just a couple minutes of the last one, but had to bounce. So I'll be looking forward to this one tomorrow, June 25th, 2025, 2 p.m. Panic's Twitch page. Be there. Okay, now that we know that's happening, uh, you, dear listener, should you happen to live in the Pacific Northwest, have an opportunity to play some unreleased Playdate games at the Indie Game Night. This is taking place at Ground Control in Portland, Oregon, this Thursday, July 26th from 7 to 11 p.m. Some very timely announcements here. We've got a link to that announcement in the show notes if you want, but very famous arcade there, Ground Control in Portland. Yet another reason to visit it this Thursday, July 26, 2025. Some unreleased Playdate games. All right. More Playdate news coming at you. We've been talking about this merch and it don't stop. We're linking once again to that Cotton Bureau page where you can find a bunch of season 2 merch. And if you don't want season 2 spoilers, I would suggest not going there. But if you like season 2, I would suggest going there because boy, howdy, they keep coming with that season 2 merch. So check that out. Guys, I feel like I'm going real fast here. Do you have any thoughts on any of this, or should I keep booping along?
keep rolling?
Rolling right along then. So, your favorite reporter and mine, Cheyenne McDonald, is at it again. But once again, just like the official Playdate podcast, that we're not going to mention real specific stuff about because we don't want to spoil season 2 for you. We're just going to link to Cheyenne McDonald's page on Engadget because new Playdate Season 2 stuff came out from Cheyenne McDonald. just going to link that there and let you know it's there. Also, speaking of articles, I don't know if you guys got a chance to read this How to Geek article, but it talks about the Playdate in a not very flattering way. This How to Geek article is titled "The Playdate is Not a Kid's Toy," and I read through this thing, and it's basically a guy getting salty about the Playdate, talking about how he thinks it's not very robust, that it's probably going to break if you give it to a kid, that it's overpriced, that it started out at a lower price and now it's a higher price. A whole lot of sour grapes in here, it seemed like. I can't say I agree with a lot of it. Obviously, I am a little biased because I am a co-host of a Playdate podcast. But I will say that after, what is it now, 3.5 years of use, like we were all in season one, my crank has never broken, and I am not easy on that crank. So I have had to replace a Playdate due to button failure, which I've detailed on the show before. But the crank is sure not the thing that was the failure point for me. Anyway, it seemed like this was written from a bit of an uninformed point of view. I don't think he has a Playdate, if I'm not mistaken. But anyhow, I'm going to link that in the show notes of today's episode if you are interested in a little bit of the hot goss on the Playdate scene. But, P.S., guys, did you have a chance to read that or no?
I did, yeah. It
Nicholas, what were your thoughts?
reminded me a lot about the criticisms that we've seen pointed at the Playdate since it first released. It's too expensive. It's got no backlight. It's fragile. It's going to break. All these kind of things. So, it's another one of those. But the difference is that this is now several years into the Playdate, and this type of article is still coming out. Not sure what that means, but it's a thing. I guess it's a sentiment that some people continue to carry.
To
What do you think,
perpetuate.
Don?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a luxury item. Like, not I
Yeah.
wouldn't give a kid a Rolex, I'd give him a watch he's gonna enjoy. This isn't built for, I mean, it's not geared for most kids. Most kids aren't gonna understand the appeal of it. So,
Right.
yeah, I don't know. Yeah,
Man,
it's a
put him a
luxury
shark
item.
leash.
It's priced as one. And yeah, Panic would probably love to sell these for $50 or something. It's just not what it is. It's not what it can be right now. So,
Right.
yep.
Yeah. And I think a lot of people forget that when you purchase this thing, you get 24 games along with it. Whereas, you go out and buy a Switch 2, you're not getting 24 games out of that thing. So anyhow, just to balance out this Sour Grapes article, we've also got an article from The Gamer, which says, I'm sorry, Nintendo Switch 2, but the best console I've played this month is a fraction of the price. And you can guess which console that is. So, kind of highs and lows in the Playdate articles this month, but giving them all to you in the show notes of today's episode. All right. So I think we've, waltzed our way down the block and we've encountered the Uncranked Corner, where we are going to start with an important update about the Uncranked Direct, which is happening on July 26th, 2025. So in about a month or so here. Now, the Direct is taking a mildly different form and name because there were not quite the number of trailers submitted that they were hoping for. So it's going to be a smaller Uncranked show called the Uncranked Summer Splashdown. And what will this include? Well, there will be trailers. There were trailers submitted, just not as many as usual, it sounds like. And they'll also be showing off the games of Fun in the Sun bundle, the 2025 Fun in the Sun bundle with some videos from the devs and a chance to win a Fun in the Sun bundle, which consists of issue number 8 of Uncranked, the Fun in the Sun 2025 zine, trading cards of the games, a set of last year's cards, keychain, mini engraved surfboard with a ton of art, one of blah, 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 towels, sunglasses, 16-ounce tumbler, all kinds of stuff in this bundle. So you get a chance to win all that if you're watching. And there's also going to be a special musical guest. Not even I know who it was. I couldn't pry this information out of Zanya. So stay tuned for that special announcement. And there will possibly, maybe be a sample copy of Uncranked's first Project Coffee Table book. So if you recall, there's a couple of different iterations of the coffee table book that are scheduled, believed, hoped to come out. And this is the first one, which is going to be coding focused. The second one is more art focused. And speaking of which, that brings us to another Uncranked update, which is if you are an artist, there's still time to sign up for the Project Coffee Table art book number 2, which features all that art stuff from the Playdate community. You can also, if you're an artist, contact Zanya about the 2026 Playdate community calendar. Never too early to start thinking about that calendar. Reach out to Zanya on Discord or by email. That's uncrankedproductions@gmail.com. Remember, no E in uncranked. Uncrankedproductions@gmail.com. And finally, one more announcement. All issues of Uncranked magazine have sold out. You can still send in orders, but it's going to be by a special order basis. So basically you order and then Zanya will restock as, need arises, but it's going to be a little bit of a delay. So know about that. The exception to this is that Zanya has some misprints from issue 5. So if you don't mind some image text overlap on a page, there are a few of those available on a first come, first served basis. But with that said, digital is always and forever available and sent right to your email. So that's an option too. And I think that's going to wrap up the Uncranked Corner today. But if you, dear listener, would like to stay up to date on Uncranked happenings, you know what to do. Get over to that Substack, Uncranked PD Zine at @substack.com. That's uncrankedpdzine.substack.com. All right. Uncranked Corner has been rounded, and we are sauntering over to the destination update, where, of course, there are some new destination updates available for you, and of course, they are spoilery. So, of course, we're going to link you to the main channel link. Head on over there if you're interested in some gameplay footage of new Season 2 games. And I think that does it for news and notes. Whew, got to come up for some air. How are you guys doing? Still with me?
Yeah, this Thursday, I forgot about season 2 update until I saw Destination Playdate post one of their videos
Huh.
for this week. And I was like, oh, yeah, there's games out this week. It was just a busy day. So one of the games was spoiled, but this is the first week that the games weren't spoiled ahead of time. And I got on my Playdate and unwrapped the other game. And it's the first time I've had that experience of unwrapping a little surprise on my device. It was cool.
What about Season 1? There were lots of surprises.
In season 2, I mean.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yes.
Okay. Well, I guess my actually is over. Shall we move on to the next, section of our show? Or is there anything to mention about news and notes that I missed?
No, I think you're good.
Okay. Well, that means we're bitty boop boop booping into our indie inventory, which, our master of ceremonies, Don, is ready to regale you with.
All right, first up from Roger Ramos is Pocket Farmer for $2. This is what it sounds like, a little farming game, and it looks very cute. You can grow crops, take naps, and unlock new upgrades. Yes. Nick's very excited about that.
Nick woke up for naps.
Yes.
I don't get to take naps in real life, so the dream is to enjoy naps virtually.
Oh my God. I haven't been able to take naps since college. I feel like my circadian rhythm would be messed up if I took a nap these days. Can you guys nap?
I like to take a nap. Not by choice usually, but I just happen to.
Yeah, the only time I take naps these days is in the movie theater.
I don't go to the
Oh,
movie theater, but I got a CPAP that's supposed to make you sleep great and change your life, feel so good, and now I end up falling asleep all the time. I don't know,
Huh.
makes
What
me
other old
sleepier.
people stuff should we talk about?
Yeah. Anyway, no stress, no pressure, just a tiny farm in your pocket. Looks pretty slick. Pocket
yeah.
farmer.
Have I told you about my new slippers and robe that I wear all the time?
A cool thing about Pocket Farmer is that even if money's tight or there's a barrier, price is a barrier, there are community copies. I've never seen this before. This is
Huh.
something on
Yeah.
itch. You can just claim access and get like a free copy. If you buy a copy, though, it helps replenish the pool of community copies for others.
Wow.
So it's like the take a penny, leave a penny thing.
That's very neat.
It is very cool. So nice little itch integration there. Anyway, it looks
Very
fun.
cool. Yeah.
We'll
Well,
probably be
right on,
trying this
Roger
out.
Ramos. That's very cool.
Moving on to habitable zone calculator. My
Habitable? Yeah. This
habitable.
I feel like Nick needs to explain this one to us. I'm already confused looking at the screenshots.
Get ready for that nap time, Ryan. Nick, you want to try this?
Uh,
Way to bring it around, Don. I like that.
sure. Um, so this is a Playdate application that calculates the inner and outer boundaries of the liquid water habitable zone for planetary systems. The liquid water habitable zone, sometimes called the Goldilocks zone, is the region around a star where an Earth-like planet could sustain liquid water on its surface. The inner edge of the habitable zone is the orbital distance where an Earth-like planet would enter a runaway greenhouse.
All right, you don't
Maybe
have to read
too
the whole
formal.
description. Sounds like we're reading a science book.
um, so the purpose of this is to change star systems and determine the habitable zones.
Yeah, I read through this to try and to try and understand it. And yeah, it's like a little science calculator to find the best habitable conditions for a bunch of different space beings, planetary fixtures,
Huh.
planetary
Okay.
systems. Anyway,
So you're trying to figure out where life might
may
exist?
exist. Yes.
Well, it looks like it says these limits are based on the exoplanet climate model simulations performed by Kaparapu et al. In 2013 and 14. So I guess it's
Yeah.
based on some scientific research. So that's good. That's good. Whew.
Just thought it was interesting that somebody's using the Playdate for this. So I threw it on there.
Yeah.
Yeah, very interesting.
Kind of
It is a
cool.
name your own price if you want to check it out, but
Definitely cool.
you
And
know where that link will be.
we can use that to plan future vacations. So
Good.
Or
Yeah.
permanent living situations, as the
Yes.
case may be.
And this is by Jacob Hock Mistra. I hope I'm saying that right.
Cool. Bold,
Okay.
David. Jacob. That was a bold one. I like
Next
it.
up, next up from Zartan 917, Panels of Freedom comic book, or I should say Retrogramma. He's made a bunch of stuff that we've spoken about many times. It's a comic book. This is a 2-issue double feature. Original heroes, including Pinball Man.
What?
what?
Is it
Is he
possible?
listening to our show
Yeah, is it
specifically, making
possible?
comics, making pinball?
Is it possible Pinball Man was included to get a shout out here? I don't know.
Right.
You never know.
Zartan, flattery will get you everywhere. Nice work.
Indeed. An IT man, apparently.
Oh, that one's for Nick.
It's appealing directly to Nick. So anyway, it looks pretty cool. It's $1. So check out Panels of Freedom comic book by Retro Gamma.
I like
And
this. The baddies. One of them is the debater, super smart fellow that never loses. He debates. All right.
indeed. And then last up is another app from Orwellian. It's been a while since we've seen one of these. It is called Resonance. It's $10. And you interface with sine waves and whatnot and nodes. You set up orbits on a path and create sounds. It's a pocket. It's like a pocket, not a pocket oscillator, but different effects and filters and stuff you can make with your Playdate. He makes a bunch of different electronic instruments for the Playdate. Orwellian does. So, or
It's
Louis.
worth noting that you should use headphones with this application.
Yes. So, yeah, if you're into making electronic music, then check this out and messing with sounds. Very cool.
Yeah,
You're
he's
probably
got
already
a
familiar with this, but anyway.
he's got a YouTube video on his itch page, and it looks like it's sort of a resonant noise maker type thing. I'm very bad with musical terms, but
Mhm.
the video will do it much better justice than I will, especially since you actually get to hear some of the sounds that it is making. So we'll include a link to that as well. That one's $10, and I don't know if we mentioned the uh, Hello Playdate podcast catered game Panels of Freedom comic is only $1. Did we mention that? I feel like we didn't.
I think so.
Yes, we did.
Did we? Okay. Tuned
Yes.
out again. Sorry.
Okay, heading into catalog. First up by Demos Games for $6 is Top Bins.
Top bins.
We talked about this a while back when it was part of a game jam, I believe, but it's
Mhm.
been all cleaned up and flushed out and added a bunch of features and whatnot. And this is an arcade style action game about rapidly loading trash bins onto your garbage truck and disposing them or recycling them accordingly. Things get frantic, so you gotta stay on the ball, keep residents happy, local wildlife, and more. Keep them off your back. Excuse me, as you aim to impress your boss and chase the high score. There's multiple
7 levels.
endings,
Yeah. Yeah.
over 20 unlockables.
Hmm.
There's a speed run, high scoreboards, a bunch of different stuff. And so I started playing today. It looks like so far I'm the only one on the high score leaderboard. The the controls are a little tricky, but there is a tutorial now. And I ran through the tutorial, and it was a lot easier with the tutorial than it was during the play jam, where I had a hard time understanding
Hmm.
how to put it all together. But I think making it complex is part of what the game is, kind of like co-op or something. It's not that as difficult as
Mhm.
co-op, but similar to that, where it's like, oh, I got to remember to do this, and this. Like, there's a lot of moving parts. But have you guys tried this one out yet? Top ends?
Not yet, but it looks super fleshed out, and we love us some John Damos games here on the Hello Playdate podcast. Looking forward to this one. Nick, you got a
John
chance for this
Damos.
one?
Haven't played yet, but looking forward to.
Yeah, same as these.
I need to see those scores on the scoreboard. I have
Give,
I have a
I'll have to
score
get on
on
there, give you
there,
some
but that
competition.
is without beating the level. So, which is nice, but I need some tips on how to not get fired
Hmm.
because it's tough. It's tough to like
Yeah.
make a delivery while other residents are screaming at you. So, help me out.
Well, there is a game support link on that page, so maybe you can email some support.
I messaged Damos and was like, "Dude, how do I keep my job? Help me."
Can report back next week.
Yeah. All right. Next up is Mission Lunatrix by Ray. $7. We talked about this a couple weeks ago. This is a skateboarding game in outer space, similar to like the Ratchet and Clank levels where you're on a small planet or Mario Galaxy or something, but you're on a skateboard doing tricks and stuff. It looks like it's got a high scoreboard now, which is awesome. So, and daily orbits got daily a daily mode, which is really cool. So definitely want to check this out.
Scenic Route software on that leaderboard. Look out.
And
Yeah, I remember playing this too. It looks like it's had a ton of updates since we played it for the catalog version. So look forward to experiencing that.
that's Mission Lunatrix by Ray. Next up, Delved by SN Studios. It's been on
What?
yeah, it's been
What?
on itch for a while, but now it's on catalog. $3.
SN Studios. This is, if I'm not mistaken, their first catalog game.
Is it? It might
I
be,
think
yeah.
I think so, because Tochi 2, none of that was on catalog. Very
Hmm.
cool. Huzzah for you, SN
Lush's Land.
Studios.
Lush's Land is on here.
On catalog?
Yeah, just
Oh,
searched it.
fantastic. I stand corrected.
Anyway, here's another one. Delved. So it's a 2D platforming game. Lots of it, great art, and you have like a little adventure, multiple achievements and difficulties. You can adjust the difficulties and whatnot. So, Ryan, this is up your alley.
Yeah, for sure. Hey, Don, not to continue with the actually train, but I clicked on SN Studios website and the Luscious Land links to Itch. Is that correct?
I don't know, but I searched SN Studios on the catalog site and it brings up Lush's Land.
Okay, cool. Cool,
Actually, the
cool.
actually, so I don't know.
I appreciate that.
Yeah. Okay, so next up is possibly Axolotl's Play Pack by possibly Axolotl. It's $2. It's got all his Play Jam games in one collection. It's three
Hmm.
arcadey titles. These are fun. I played all these previously. Shopping Spree, Deep Dive, and Lights Out. So yeah, if you want some quick little, very polished, fun experiences, give this one a go.
Huh,
No brainer.
that's cool. I haven't seen many game packs listed on catalog before. Have you? Am I misremembering?
I don't know about on catalog. Nick, can you
Yeah.
think of any? Hmm.
I can't.
Hmm.
Not on catalog. I've seen a few on itch, but
Hmm.
off the top of my head, not on catalog. So no.
Okay. Well, while we ponder that, you can go buy it for $2 and we'll talk about the next game, which is Lux Deluxe by Power Dive Games. Who wants to talk about this one?
This was another Play Jam game that has been polished up and is now a full release. $4.
Hmm.
It's a roguelike deck builder. This was another really fun one. The sun exploded. Humanity's only hope for survival is a mysterious metal called Lux Metal. Venture underground, find the source of the Lux, and help rebuild the sun. So yeah, so it is a deck builder, but you only get a couple cards at a time. There's a little story with it, and it's pretty easy to dig into. Haha.
Good
So,
one, Don.
so anyway, yeah, I did enjoy this one during the game jam, and
Okay, okay. I think that does it for
check
catalog
it out.
this week, but we're not done yet because whoo, I have not rattled off all those on sale games yet, which starts with Ribbit Rogue. It's 25% off from 8 to 6. Be kind to yourself, 12% off from 8 to 7. Steamed Roller for only $1, 50% off from $2. You can get that game by Chris Campbell. Also, whoo, my game of the year the other year, Fall of Elena Temple is 33% off for only $2. Oh, gracious. If $2 doesn't get you to buy that game, I don't know what will. Let's see what else we got here. Stars of the Screen from 6 to 5. P Racing from 10 to 4. 60% off for P Racing. And by the wait, no, can I talk about this? I don't know. Might be spoilery. I guess I'll just say that Resolve Productions, who did P Racing, this game that has a lot percent off, is coming out with a very new game here. So I guess I'll just leave it at that.
Hmm.
Um, Playtime Clocks from Adams Immersive is also 60% off from 5 to 2. Spike 2, The Great Emu War by Goloso Games is also 60% off. Boy, this is a common theme. 5 to $2. And finally, Carve Jr., 50% off from 8 to 4.
Very nice. Yeah. Spike 2. I haven't seen that one on sale in a long time. So check that out. That's a really fun game.
Yeah, I've even got that physical box for that game. Whew, that
Oh,
was
cool.
fun. Yeah. All right. Well, I think that does it for catalog, which brings us to boop boop boopity boop, our not pick of the week. What are we calling this now? I guess it's our season 2, week
Season 2
3
review.
review. There we go.
Sure.
Okay. Which one should we start with, guys?
You want to start with Otto's Galactic Groove?
Yeah,
Or
sure.
is there a preference? I don't really.
I'm amenable. Nick, I feel
Amenable.
like this one's up your alley. Do you want to describe this one?
Yeah, it's a rhythm game on the Playdate, and in this, it works sort of like theater rhythm. Uh, the field actions where you are matching notes with a guide, and then also um, steering along long hold paths. Um, so this game has a story mode with many different tracks and different aspects of the story. Essentially, Otto is sent out to bring some grooves back and visits all these different planets, experiences different types of music, and that is the thrust of the game. But I have lots of thoughts and opinions about this particular rhythm game. But before I get into many of those, what do you all think?
John, you want to start us off?
Sure. So I feel like this is pretty close to like Guitar Man as far as controls. It's kind of like Theatre Rhythm, but because you're moving the cursor, that's where I got more of the Guitar Man feel.
Mhm.
Which is one of my favorite games of all time. I probably have mentioned that my last dog, rest in peace, Puma, was named after Guitar Man's dog. So
Hmm.
yeah, obviously I was gonna clomber onto this game right away. I turned like people were having problems with making combos right away, and so somebody had mentioned if you hit it right before the dots hit your little cursor, you'll kind of get into the groove faster. So I was doing that, and I started just playing extreme difficulty right away, and I feel like that was the right move. Like extreme felt like where I wanted to be. It wasn't like Guitar Hero where extreme was super hard and only like amazing players are going to be able to handle it. Extreme was a little challenging, but it made you feel kind of in the groove of the game. And it really varied based on the type of music because the genres really change from planet to planet. You might
Mhm.
have like weird uh Brian Eno sort of techno, not quite techno, experimental ambient stuff on one planet, and then the next one might be punk music, and then another one might be uh Midwest emo sort of stuff. I don't know, it's just like all over the place. It's not just all Space Planet 5 or Space Channel 5 dance music, which was really cool. It was really fun to explore all these different genres. And then apparently there's bonus tracks that I didn't even get into that come from other Playdate game soundtracks. So there's a million songs on here, and I did not get into all of them, honestly. But I really enjoyed just the quality of the songs, the quality of the art, and the quality of the gameplay. It was like this. I listened to the podcast, the official podcast, and it was like this super team of talent that came together to make this game. And it was really fun. And I'm glad they took a little bit of time to throw in updates and kind of give you all these options of like, oh, do you want a background at all? Do you want a moving background? Do you want a static background? Like they give you all these different options to really make the experience what you want it to be. which was really thoughtful of them. So I had a lot of fun with it. Ryan, what did you think?
Yeah, I second what you say. I also want to draw attention to the fact that one of the team members was a comic book artist, Edie Wolf. And so obviously they hired Edie to do the interstitial narrative elements that had comics that you would scroll through with a crank. So I thought that was real cool. I will levy my generic art critique and Playdate art critique that there were a lot of thin lines in this artwork. So again, it would be nice to see some thick outlines, thin interior details and background. But outside of that, it was real fun to see all these different characters come to life and how Otto interacts with them. When I first started playing, I started playing story mode, and I am not a rhythm game aficionado. I like rhythm games, but I would not call myself an expert by any stretch of the imagination. So I started out on whatever the lowest of the three was called. And as I was making my way through story mode, I found myself getting a little bit bored, if I'm being honest, because it was so easy, it was so simple. So I wish that I would have like changed it, but I was afraid to like try to change it in the settings as I was in the middle of story mode for fear that it would like reset everything. I probably should have just done it. Maybe it doesn't reset your story mode, but those are my tech fears of having gone through part of the story mode already as I just finished it up and easy. But then where the game really started singing for me was when I started doing the um, uh, I don't know what you call scoreboard mode, the competition mode, like you're doing a song and you can choose your level of difficulty and see how you're doing against other people on the leaderboard. I did not get into the top whatever of any leaderboard. I was always in the, triple digits in terms of my ranking, but it was fun to see how I stacked up and that I could try it again and boost my score a little bit from practice because having played enough rhythm games, I know that uh, a lot of it is about practice and learning the notes and learning the cadence and the rhythms that you have to hit in order to excel at it. So I can see how that would have a lot longer legs um, for me than the story mode. I'm glad the story mode was there. It was cute. It was fun. But if I could give a piece of advice, it would be to start on a little bit higher difficulty level if you're doing story mode. Did you guys happen into that, or did you by chance switch your difficulty level in the middle of doing story mode?
I started on expert and continued on expert. Um, Don, how about you?
I started on easy or normal or whatever, and then switched it right away to expert after the first song, I think. So yeah,
While you were
you don't, yeah, while I was doing it, you don't lose your progress.
okay, that's good to know.
So yeah, I played on expert, and there are several different options available in the menu to improve performance. I ended up turning a lot of those on uh, so that I could try to maximize, my combos and scoring potential. One thing which I was not aware of during gameplay is in story mode, you're actually feeding the high score tables, the leaderboards, as
Hmm.
well for the individual songs. I found that out after completing the story mode, and wish I had performed better on some some of those songs. Um, I experimented with several of the other songs. I love rhythm games, and so I'm always interested in trying to figure out how a rhythm game functions and how to increase the scoring potential as high as possible. In this one, I experienced a couple of bugs in the results screen. It's nothing that impacts the gameplay, um, but it would lose combo counts and things of that nature. So it would show you had zero combos, even if you perfectly comboed the song. A couple of little things like that. as far as gameplay, I had an issue with the long sustains, the holds where you're wiggling the crank back and forth. Um, the big problem that I had is motor control for me. So there, Don mentioned that there was like a punk rock planet, and in that one there are a lot of jagged little crank exercises that
Hmm.
are extremely long sustains. So you not only have to match the cadence of the cranking, but also then ease into kind of like a slide. And those were real tough for me. Most of the other sustained things were okay, but those ones in particular, I felt were a little more difficult than I expected them to be, and I had a lot of trouble with those sections, which are frequent in those songs. Um, the individual notes, I love moving the reticle and hitting the notes. I thought the mechanics of that felt really great. The and I feel this way about theater rhythm too, but um, holding those sustains did not feel as satisfying to me. Um, Mostly because I was really worried about moving too far and then dropping the whole thing. Um, but how did you all feel about the actual mechanics of the gameplay?
I was,
I felt like go for it, Don.
yeah, I was pretty happy with it. It seemed fairly forgiving. I guess I wasn't trying to min-max the score. I know that's a Nick thing. So especially the ones that are kind of like W shaped or whatever, the squiggling up and down, they felt pretty forgiving. Maybe I was getting lucky and being pretty accurate, but I know what you mean with the sustains that go like especially really high up or down. Like if you get
Mhm.
just a little bit off, it'll kick you off and then you'll lose several seconds of progress, which is a bummer. And I have that happen a few times. And I know what you mean by like the punk song, especially, was so many like quick little beats. And I guess one thing that kind of bugged me on that song was that you're only following the vocals. And I guess
Mhm.
there were large sections where there weren't any vocals. And so you're just kind of like blank spots. There's a couple songs like that where there's just like empty spots, but there's so much going on with the song at the time, but there's nothing to push a button on. And I feel like on extreme mode, you should kind of always be cranking at something. But I get that it might be confusing for the player to be following the vocal melody and then switching over to a guitar lead or something and then switching back to a vocal lead. That must be challenging when you're creating a rhythm game to kind of pick your battles, I guess, as far as what the player is going to be following. Ryan, what were you about to say?
Yeah, I was going to say in terms of mechanics and moving along with the sustained notes, I felt similar to you, Don, in that it felt forgiving, but then I was playing in casual mode most of the time. When I switched over to extreme mode, I did find that it was pretty challenging because things were moving so fast. So maybe that's why that part was challenging for Nick, is because you were on, extreme mode the whole time, I'm guessing, Nick. Um,
Yeah.
so that could be. I was also trying a couple things in casual mode in story time or whatever it's called. Um, so I was 100%ing combos for most of the songs, and that's not a brag. That's to say that casual was very easy to the point where I did not have to complete sustained notes in order to sustain my 100% musical note hit combo, whatever. In fact, I started deliberately hitting those sustained notes on the first dot and then pulling off just to see if it would take away my combo or tell me that I missed a note. And no, it did not. It allowed me to continue. So maybe that's only in casual mode and it gets more stringent in extreme mode. Did you guys mess around with casual?
That's typical of
It's
rhythm games.
Hmm.
yeah, that's a normal rhythm game thing. Like DDR functions that
In
way as
it,
well.
in any mode, in
You
any mode. As long as
So
you're
it
yeah,
hitting the start, it gives you credit, but you're not earning any points if you're not holding the sustain.
Okay. I
right.
wondered if there was some sort of point measure system because there did not seem to be in story mode, but you said that it counted toward the leaderboards too.
Yeah, it does.
So how do you see your score total in story mode?
I only
That's one
saw it
knock.
by yeah,
What was
by
that?
looking at the leaderboards.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
so I took a look and they were all on there. My
Huh.
name was all over the place at the time, and I
Well,
said, "Huh,
speaking
that's
of
weird."
speaking of leaderboards, Nick, did you manage to get on the leaderboard anywhere? Like top 10?
Y- Yeah, in the story mode, I got on a lot of the different songs leaderboards just in my sight read of everything, and then I played a few of the extra songs and got on a couple of those leaderboards as well.
Huh. I'm
I
cruising
don't.
through the very extensive leaderboard on catalog here, and
Mhm.
it basically shows top three for each song and each iteration of the song, casual, hard, and extreme. I guess maybe you didn't hit
No,
top three. I'm not
it
seeing
shows top tens.
if you press more on
Yeah.
mine. It's yeah.
It's just like I was on them too, but I've been
Hmm.
knocked off. I think maybe Nick's in the same
Yeah,
boat.
Okay.
I'm certain that I was knocked off. Yeah.
Okay. Did you guys see the 4.2 billion point score on the leaderboards here?
No, I didn't see that.
There's
Oh
a
yeah, that's gotta be a
I'm
glitch or something.
it's gotta be on
Yeah,
Huh.
that's gotta be.
PHYTO, et
That was actually
cetera, et
my
cetera, et
least
cetera.
favorite planet. Was
Hmm.
that Phyto planet?
Did you guys have a favorite song?
Oh yeah.
Um, I don't know. Like, I found that I think Unwhole maybe. Like, I found it because I made a mental note. I found it hard to match some of the song titles with the songs,
Hmm.
which is fine. I mean, I'm not gonna criticize how they name the songs, but I think Unwhole it had like more of an acoustic. That was maybe the Midwest emo planet.
Huh. I like Blue Slushy personally. It sounded like a very Playdate type of song, like almost something that you'd hear on, the start of the official Playdate podcast.
Hmm.
Uh, yeah, it was
I do
fun.
wish that it. I think what Nick and I were kind of getting to was like, I do wish it showed your score, but there's so many things affecting the performance. Maybe that's something that
Hmm.
would have held it down.
Hmm.
I know Nick was saying he said in the Discord, turn off the background if you're going for a
Uh,
score.
hmm.
And definitely, like I was like, well, I want to see everything the game has to offer, so I turned on the animated backgrounds, and there is definitely some slowdown
Hmm.
and performance issues if the animated backgrounds are on. So I kind of put the static backgrounds on, and there is, like Nick said, your cleanest experience is with no background. But the art is really charming, and I liked having the background there. So I played with the background there.
Cool, cool. Welp, we do have another game to get to. Should we switch over there now? Are you guys ready to
Um,
give a parting adieu to Otto's Galactic Groove?
just 20 more things, please.
Okay.
The first of them is that there's a level editor, so you can make your
Hmm.
own songs, and it's a very extensive level editor, and it's pretty friendly. Um, and in fact, in the Discord, there was a song that was just posted from Demos Games, right?
Ah,
Rapcal.
By
Is it the same person?
exactly the wrong person. Um,
whoopsies.
yeah, sorry about that. Um, so that is really
Uh,
exciting.
based on Relax.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to giving that a shot and yeah, seeing what other songs might be created. Um, I really enjoy rhythm games that have a long tail, and so things like DDR, where additional songs can be made, and then you extend that experience and make it more challenging and continue to improve your skills and abilities, um, rather than being locked into 8 songs or whatever, um, forever. So I think that was forward looking and a good idea.
Yeah. I love that they give us that tool.
Mhm. Okay, that was the only thing actually.
Okay, I was waiting for the 19 others. Okay, very good. Well, I guess that brings us to Long Puppy. So the second game of week 3 of season 2 is Long Puppy, made by the one and only Indiana-Jonas. So essentially, you are a puppy dog, and you are a Dachshund hound,
Dachshund.
a wiener dog, um, with a very long body. And the more you eat, the longer you can extend your body. And essentially, you are trying to fetch a ball that your owner threw, but in order to retrieve it, you need to reach into places that you are not quite long enough to reach. So over the course of the level, you pick up different food items and grab this ball to return to your owner. There are a couple of game mechanics here that are probably worth mentioning. That when it's time to get the ball, then the owner's old dog, which is very big and mean, comes out and chases you. So you have a little bit of a chase scene at the end, timed element. And speaking of timed elements, you've only got so much time on a level to complete it. So you got to keep moving, keep finding that fruit, keep finding those morsels to allow you to extend your body to the length you need to go. Really interesting controls for this game. Like the crank is cranking your head in a particular direction, and then one of the other buttons, I'm forgetting which. Maybe the B button, I forget. Anyhow, moves your dog in the direction that your head is pointing. Um, I thought this was a really charming little game, little pet to move around, some actions to complete, and sort of a timed hurry up feel to it. But what did you guys think of Long Puppy? What was your experience like?
Yeah, so charming is the word I was going to use as well. Like I really like the South Park Gumby type cutscene animation thing they had going. I really like that. Like I want a whole game of just that. The cutout animation stuff. And even the levels and the long puppy animation, I like all that. I didn't mind how the dog ran around. I like how when you're searching something, there's like food shooting out everywhere. It's not just one thing pops out. It's satisfying having all this stuff come out. I really like that. I like the idea that, of course, that you grow longer, you can get to new areas and whatnot. Bucky's Revenge in our Discord had mentioned that they didn't like the timer, and they mentioned that before I even started the game. And so I turned the timer off before I started the game. I was like, "Oh yeah, I hate timers." So I did not play with the timer on. I immediately turned that off. And I like hidden stuff. Like there's just hidden secrets and whatnot. I found that really appealing. And so I've played similar games. Of course, I'm having a hard time thinking of what games are like this. Might have some off the top of his head, but Snakebird is one that does come to mind. So I was familiar with the gameplay style, and I don't dislike it, but something that just really dragged me down on this game was the ghost. I hated the ghost dog. I want to just chill and get longer and grab the tennis ball and take it back and be a good boy and poop and move on to the next level. I hated the ghost dog. Dude, it bummed me out. Like I was like, okay, I found this is going to be like one or two on my season of the season games. Then the ghost is just like killing the vibe on every level. I mean, I would get to
So,
where, okay, I've planned out a path, and then I would get around, and then the ghost just goes through everything, so it doesn't really matter.
so the ghost dog is
Bro,
his old dog that's jealous. Is that right? Is that
yeah,
what you're referring to? Okay, gotcha.
yes.
Yeah. He does sort of float around, doesn't he?
Yeah, and it's just like always in the way. It just drove me nuts, man. Like I just hated the ghost dog. And so I just found myself like I wanted to play it for the podcast. I wanted to play it, to experience the game a little more. But then the ghost dog ruined the fun. And it's kind of like, okay, I turned the timer off because I hate the timer, but then I still got the ghost dog to deal with. So it's kind of the same unfun angle. So
that
like it made me just not want to play the game.
that's interesting. Nick, did you have big feelings about Ghost Dog and timers?
Um, so timers, I didn't know you could turn the timer off, but I didn't ever feel any time pressure in this game. Um, it was not an element, not even a mechanic that I thought about at all.
Well,
Um,
well, all right.
yeah. Uh, the dog growing and then moving to different locations reminded me a lot of Box Boy. Um,
Yeah.
even though you're moving in straight lines in that rather than these curved arcs. I'm making motions that you can't see on the podcast. You'll
All
just have
right.
to believe me. Um, and gathering food, chomping it down, and then pooping it out at the end of the level, very satisfying. Um, more games need a crank to poop mechanic, I think. Um, the thing that bummed me out was not the pressure of the ghost dog. The ghost dog makes sense. And by the way, one of the reasons I guess that I didn't feel time pressure was that the ghost dog appears no matter what. So
Hmm.
even if you get to the tennis ball right away,
Hmm.
that ghost dog is popping out regardless of how much time you have left on the timer. Um, so it's just a mechanic that is kind of omnipresent. Um, the ghost dog itself is pressure in a couple ways. It's intended to make you move faster and deliver this tennis ball back. Generally speaking, it requires you to move in a predetermined fashion, meaning that if you go down around a bunch of obstacles, maybe that is too long of a journey, and the ghost dog will catch up with you and force you to reconsider by biting you, grabbing the tennis ball, and bringing it back to its original location where the owner threw it. So stages can devolve into a lot of trial and error, figuring out the best route back to the owner once you've picked up the tennis ball. But the other thing that the ghost dog does is it will hover around the tennis ball. So if it has brought the tennis ball back to the original position and you go back to pick up the tennis ball, you can find yourself in a cycle of being bitten over and over again and paralyzed as the ball is continuously returned back to the starting position. Um, so the added pressure, the um, requirement that you perform these prescribed movements in a relatively quick speed. It's not super quick. I mean, the pressure is not that intense, but it's intense enough that you notice it. Um, it was a little, not super exciting the 15th time or whatever that it happened. Um, the thing that I really took issue with, and I know the game is supposed to be silly and lighthearted, but the way that the previous dog was treated, and then the way that um, the the game ended also just kind of rankled me a bit. I don't know if you all felt that way, but no, okay, just me.
Well, I didn't
I
finish it because
I
it
did
was
not
drove me
complete the game
crazy.
either.
Oh, okay.
I did not have
Um,
a good time ultimately and didn't finish the game.
okay.
So I'm down to hear spoilers on what you didn't like at some
Yeah, I'm
point.
ready.
But no, well,
Spoiler
no, no, no,
territory.
no, not spoiler territory because
No.
I don't want to spoil the game. We'll do our rankings and stuff. But I'm
Alrighty.
down at the
Yeah,
end
yeah.
to hear.
Um, but as far as moving the dog, eating stuff, pooping it out, it's all great. That was all fun, and I definitely enjoyed the Gumby aesthetics that you were talking about, Don. I agree. Would play a game that utilized those in their entirety.
Yeah.
So
We
Don,
haven't
it
heard
sounds
from
like
Ryan. Oh, yeah.
I was going to say, Don, it sounds like if this were an untimed game with no owner's previous dog present and more of a chill experience, this would have been a lot higher ranked for you, yes?
Yeah, if I could turn off the ghost, then yeah, I really would have liked this game. Yeah, I mean, there's so much to this that I liked. Exploring and whatnot. It's still a challenge to get to certain fruits and get long enough to get to the ball. That is a challenge to an extent. I mean, it's not that much of a challenge. And they maybe if without the ghost dog, that could have been more of a challenge, and then maybe I would have turned the timer back on. And that would have been, a different type of game. Or
Uh,
just having that option. I don't know, just the ghost dog, like Nick was saying, how it just hovers around the ball. It's like I would get to where, okay, I'm almost there, and then he would get it, and then he starts to take it back, and I'm like, dude, just like you're killing me.
Just chill, ghost dog.
I could
Yeah,
get back to where
I
the
hear
ball
you.
was, and then he would be right there. And I'm like,
you're killing me,
bro,
dogs. All right.
maybe if he couldn't go through bricks, or I don't know, like I don't want to, I'm not a game designer, so it's easy for me to say, oh, you should do this or this or this. Like I get that, but I was not vibing with it. What did you think, Ryan? We haven't heard you say anything about it.
Um, yeah, I enjoyed my time with it. I did not mind the timed element. I can see what you're saying about the owner's previous dog, but it just felt like sort of a final boss to me. Like you gotta learn um the strategies, you've got to learn the maneuvers, you've got to learn the path to take. And yes, there was some sort of redos built into that, but it sort of reminded me of like, I don't know, you learn a boss in Mega Man, and it takes you a few times before you understand the movements of this boss. But once you get to understand it, then you can maneuver your way around. So it didn't bother me as much as it bothered you by any stretch. I'm guessing we'll see that play out in our season 2 rankings here in a moment. Speaking of which, are you guys ready for some season 2 ranks?
Sure.
Okay. Welp, I guess I'll start out. So for mine, Long Puppies coming in at number 4 of 6, and Otto's Oh, are we doing that yet? Are we all doing Long
Yeah, yeah,
Puppy?
go for it.
Okay. And Otto's Galactic Groove is coming in at number 5. So for me, that puts my rankings as number 1, the Whiteout, followed by Dig Dig Dino, Fulcrum Defender, Long Puppy, Otto's Galactic Groove, and Wheel Sprung. Nick, how about you?
Very good. My number 3 is Otto's Galactic Groove, and number 4 is Long Puppy. So that puts my rankings at number 1, The Whiteout, number 2, Dig Dig Dino, number 3, Otto's Galactic Groove, 4, Long Puppy, 5, Wheel Sprung, and 6, Fulcrum Defender.
All
How about
right,
you, Don?
Donathan.
All right, my number one, Dig Dig Dino, then Whiteout, then Otto's Galactic Groove at number three, Wheel Sprung at four, Fulcrum Defender at five, Long Puppy at six.
Oh, all right. So now that we've got through both games, we've talked about season 2 rankings. Don, should we pull some spoilers out of Nick
Should
here?
we talk about Blippo Plus? Is it the
You're the
time?
Blippo boy, man. Dude, like I
I've been
legit forget to even look at Blippo. Blippo is not on my.
faithfully
He's not a blip on
watching
my O,
I
I guess. I don't know.
I I
every single week.
watched every single one last week, and oh boy, I felt like it was a little much for me. What'd you see this week, Nick? Was there
Oh
some more
well,
what is it? Dance Dance Blipperushin? I can't remember the name of the show.
Uh,
there is a dance show. There's also an exercise show. But the thing that the main plot point, I think, uh, and I'm reaching back. So this was 2 weeks ago, right? In Blippo programming,
no idea.
is that they elected bendonauts to examine the bend in space. And that bend in space is how the broadcasts are getting to the PDs in our world from Blip.
Ah, okay. So when they
Okay.
port all
Anyway,
this over to the Switch and whatever else, it's that'll be how it gets to the Switch then, huh?
I suppose. Yeah, I'm curious how that'll work. One thing I want to shout out that I think I shouted out previously, but I'm going to continue to do it every single week is the uh, songs, the background music in Femtofax, which is a fax-based channel where people are sending in their community concerns, or there are little update channels that give you information. There's a channel called um, oh gosh, I forget. But anyway, there's a ton of really fun stuff in there, and it all has these great background theme songs on the main menu. So great work in Blippo Plus.
How do you play
Cool.
Quizzards?
The Quizzard. Um, so that has some plot elements in Blippo Plus as well. But Quizzards is there's like a dungeon master, which is asking two participants how they choose to approach a situation. And I think in the episode from this week, one of them fell unexpectedly rather than completing an action.
Oh, okay. Now I see it. All right. It's a show. All right.
Yes.
All right. We'll have to get on the Blippo
Whatever.
train, Don,
I guess
you and
so.
me. But in the meantime, if people are looking for how they can find us, that's at playdatepodcast.com or on your podcatching system of choice. We're also on the Blueskis. That's helloplaydate.blueski.social. We are on YouTube at Hello Playdate Podcast. You can email us, helloplaydatepodcast@gmail.com, or calling us on that tip line, Bingo's tip line, that is. It's 724 Bingos 1. That's 724-246-4671. A really for real phone number where you can actually leave your voice for us. And if you do so, boy, howdy, you can be on this show with us. So do that. Give it a call. Call that number. What's that number? 724 Bingos 1. That's 724-246-4671. Guys, we made it through week 3. On to week 4. Looking
Halfway
forward to it.
through.
Yeah.
Operators are standing by on the bingo tip line. Is that right?
Okay. Smooth operators on the bingo tip line. We will see you next week for season 2, week 4.
Okay. Spoilers for Long Puppy. Nick, what happens?
So, the thing that I took issue with is discussed kind of briefly in the narrative about the former dog, but it's intimated that the other dog died because the owner um, was not satisfied with it. Uh, and the way that the owner treats the dog is not good. And so that the ending is kind of sad
Can you
in
talk
that
about
Well,
the
yeah,
not good
you're like,
treatment?
do you stick
the
him in a pillowcase, throw him in the river, or what's going on?
no, it's not that bad, but
Okay.
the dog is back in the house, and it's just kind of I don't know. I did not get a good feeling from the story. It's been a little while since I played and saw the ending, but I remember not being real thrilled with the way that it portrayed that relationship between the owner and the dog. And of course, the owner is a clueless buffoon who is making the dog go through all these gyrations in the first place. But animal mistreatment is just something that I don't uh, like
Yeah.
in various types of media. So this is not an exception. Playing a game where the goal is to mistreat an animal is just not my cup of tea. So
So
anyway,
the goal of mistreatment was the directed toward the old dog, or are you saying having the long dog move around and eat things and grab the ball was mistreatment?
Yeah, I mean, the owner is throwing this ball into these inaccessible or abandoned areas and then making the dog go get it. Even though the dog is not initially capable of getting it, um, the owner is uh, not taking any responsibility for their own failings there and is forcing that onto the dog who has no agency. Um, it's not a kind way to portray that relationship, and maybe I'm the only one that feels this way, so that's okay too. But it is something that stuck with me when I rolled the credits. I was like, huh, that did not feel good um, that entire time.
Hmm.
So
I kind of see that
yeah,
because he has like a scowl on his face when he's throwing the ball.
well, yeah, I mean that might just be exertion or whatever, but it's just the I don't know. Obviously, I'm not explaining it well, but
I'll have to
the
give completion a shot, and
yeah,
I feel
see
like I
if
can't
you
really adequately comment on
agree
the
once
ending of the
you see
game.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep. All right. All right.
but yeah,
All right.
uh, hopefully no more cruelty to animal games this season. um, not that that was the goal, and obviously the whole game is tongue in cheek, but it rubbed me the wrong way. So
Did it
anyway,
rub you the wrong way before experiencing the ending, or
it
did the
did, yeah.
ending sour you?
No, well, the ending really clinched it for me, but before then, yeah, as well, did not enjoy um, the story elements of it.
Hmm.
Um, but again, maybe that's just me. So willing to be weird.
Hmm.
Well, that's what we do here. So,
It's too bad.
fulfilling our duties.
There's a lot I really wanted to like there, but just didn't connect. That's okay.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, with that said, I think this is bye for real.
Yep. Bye.